What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in my previous video I did a review on the Atomstack Maker A30 Pro. I got a new addition to it. It's the Atomstack AC1. This is going to be a camera. Now this camera is actually a universal camera. You don't have to just use it with the Atomstack laser. You can use this with other lasers. As you guys can see, it's got a universal mounting design there. So it's going to accept a wide range of laser engravers, or even if you just want to put this on the end of a table or something like that. Is the whole idea is just to get this camera over the center of your work area, and this does allow for tons of adjustability. It's got adjustability up and down. This arm tilts back and forth. You got a ball head here to adjust the camera. So tons of adjustability to make this work with a lot of different setups. Along with this, they do give you some material because you're going to have to calibrate it. You will have to download a Lightburn because this is what it works with. And you can see my live view of my work area there through the camera. So a few tips and tricks is, I noticed that in the instruction manual, they give you this tape measure, and they want this camera to be right over the center of your work area, and then about 420 millimeters from your work area to the camera. Now that's roughly about 16 inches if I did my research correctly. I got this at 18 inches from my work area, and I seem to be getting the best scores and the most accuracy out of the camera at this height with my experience. All right, guys, so once you get this all set up, like I said, it's pretty easy. You're just gonna clamp it to your laser engraver or even the edge of your table, and you're gonna use all these adjustments that's built into this arm to make sure that your camera is right over your project area, nice and level. And then you're gonna come in, you're gonna plug your camera into your computer. You're going to open up your Lightburn because that's what this works in. And your camera, I already got it in here because I've been playing with this for a while. But I'm going to right click on this, and we're going to go to camera lens calibration. So your camera name is going to be PH720. So you're going to click onto that. You're going to make sure you hit standard lens. Go ahead and hit next. And then we're going to do some testing here, but first go ahead and click off honeycomb, check enabled. And then you're going to do a number of tests here with this pattern that they give you with the camera. So the first test is you're going to want to put that pattern right in the center of your laser bed. And what I've learned is you're going to want to get a score. So this is going to take a capture. The camera is going to take a picture of that grid on your laser bed, right? So you want to make sure that the score that you get, and you'll see this in a second here, is 0.3 or less is ideal. Now I've done this previously and I was getting scores up to 0.4, 0.5, and then once I actually ended up doing all the testing and calibration, the laser was still off a little bit when I would try to test it out on a project. So it is very important to try to get those scores as low as possible or as close to 0.3 as possible. There's a lot of different things that I did. Like I said, that's how I learned the height of my camera. It was better at 18 inches than 16 inches because I started off at 16 inches and I was just getting really high readings off the score. And then when I get done doing all the calibrations, my laser was still off. So you might have to play with it a little bit. I know that my lighting in my garage affected the score also because there would be a glare off this card. So I had to turn lights on and off. I had to actually like put cardboard in front to shade out the lights. So you might have to do a few different things to get this calibration perfect. But it's definitely worth the time. So first off, like I said, we'll just roughly, you're going to just roughly put that right in the middle. You can see that in the picture there. I'm going to go ahead and slide this out of the way. And then once you do that, you got it in the center, kind of like it shows up here. You're going to hit capture and cross your fingers and hope for a low score. All right, so actually got a really good score. What you want to do is hit next, and then it's going to have you do another test. And you're going to do a handful of these just moving the card around your laser bed and then taking pictures of it. So we're going to move this. You can see it on the screen there. Just like that. And I did try using the cardboard as a backing, and that actually made things worse for me. So we'll go ahead, hit capture here. And 0.24, so another good score. Happy with that. Go down here, hit next. Now it wants me to move it over to the left. So go ahead and do that. Hit capture. .20, another good score. Move it over to the right. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like it said, roughly put it in the area. So now we'll hit capture again. And this score is 0.29, another good score. Hit next. Once we put it at the top center. And I'm going to have to move the laser out of the way for this one, so I'm just going to slide this slowly out of the way. Put this up in the center here. And we'll see how this works out. Hit capture. 0.25, another good score. Hit next. Now move it down to the lower right, so I'm going to move this out of the way again. Down to the lower right there. So pretty easy to do. So there, I got a score of 0.32. I'm going to move this, adjust this a little bit, see if I can get a better score. So I just moved it a little bit. It doesn't take much. So see how I just moved it just a tad bit, and it actually went up a little bit. So I'll move it again. Hit capture. Down to 31. I'd like to get it in the 20s if possible. So 32. And like I said, sometimes if you play with the lighting a little bit, it doesn't look like there's any glare going on. But we'll hit capture again, down to 31. I'm gonna go ahead and play with the lighting. Hold on. All right, so I messed with it as much as I could. The best I could get is 31. So we'll go ahead and leave it at that. Hit next. Now we got to move it to the other corner. So we'll go ahead and move this over. So there we go. See how there's a little bit of glare there? So that might cause a problem. Go ahead and hit capture. See? So you might get pattern not found. Try again. And it's going to be due to that glare. I already know it because I've done this numerous times, just testing it out. So I'll move this around, and I definitely might have to turn off some lights for this. Yep, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn one of the lights off. All right, so I went ahead and turned a light off, and as you guys can see, there's not any glare on there anymore. Went ahead and did the capture, got a 0.31, which isn't bad. I'm going to go ahead and move it just a tad bit just to see if I can get that down a little bit lower. If not, I'll just leave it there. No, it went up to 33, so I'm going to move it back. So I'll definitely a lot of playing around with it. But it'll be worth it in the end because you want that score. The closer you can get that score to 3, the more accurate your laser is going to be. So go ahead and hit next. Now it wants me to go to the top. I just moved it to the top corner. Go ahead and hit capture over here. See what we get. Another pattern not found. Try it one more time. Nope, so it's probably due to some lighting. I do see a little bit of glare there. So let me mess with the lighting again. All right, so I turned the light off. Don't have much of a glare there, but after capturing it, best score I could get was a 0.34, so still not the best, but as it says, not bad. So we'll go ahead and roll with that. Hit next. Now it wants me to go to the right top corner. All All right, just moved it to the top right corner there and got a score of 0.33. So it seems like towards the top of the workstation there, the laser bed, my scores are a little bit lower, or actually higher, which is not as good as the middle to the lower. So we'll hit next, and now it says to align camera. So we're going to go ahead. So we're finished with this testing with the grid, so now we're going to align camera. So there is the PH720. Hit next. So for this test, it wants you to put 4 pieces of cardboard, 1 in each of the corners of the laser bed, and then 1 right in the middle. And they do provide you with cardstock to do this with, but if you need to do this multiple times like I have, you can just cut out squares of cardboard if you want to. It doesn't matter, you know, these aren't anything special, just standard cardboard squares. So you can cut out 5 squares yourself and do the same test. Alright guys, so that's how you're going to lay out your cardboard. Like I said, all 4 corners, then 1 in the middle. And they do provide you with cardboard to do this with. But as you guys can see, I've already used these to do some of the testing. That's what these marks on here are for. So that's why I'm using some of my own cut up cardboard. So we'll go ahead, go back over to the computer here. All right, so then after you go ahead and lay your cardboard out, I got the scale set at 200 because that's what it says in the manual. I put my fill power, my line power up to about 70. You're going to make sure that the focus is done, so make sure you use your tool to focus the laser. Go ahead and frame it. And I got to connect the laser, which means I actually got to turn on the laser. So let me turn this on. Hit OK. Go ahead and frame it now. As you guys can see, it's framing. And then we'll just start. Alright guys, so just finished up. So pretty much this design that you guys see right here, this number 2, then with the pie thing there, is what this is going to engrave onto the cardboard. So there you go, there's the 1 with the little circle thing. Same thing over there. And it does that to all of them, pretty much duplicates what you see here. So just finished up, we're going to hit next. And now what we're going to do is, it wants to be able to take a picture of what it just did. So I'm going to move the laser up out of the way because the laser's kind of in the way there. So I'm going to hit this top button here. Just going to move the laser up out of the way. And that's going to allow me to be able to capture this image here. So we'll go ahead, capture it. And now after you capture it, you're actually going to have to do something with this picture here. It's going to want you to mark certain points on this picture. So we'll go ahead, hit next. Now in here, what it wants you to do is it wants you to zoom in, zoom out. But what you're going to do is you're going to mark each one of these. So you're going to mark it in order of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to double click in the corners, or pretty much in the middle of the circles. So I'll go ahead and down there it says click marker 1. So marker 1 is going to be up in this corner here. But what I can do is I can zoom in and zoom out. So we'll go ahead and zoom in here. And we'll go as close as we can. Because what we want to do is we want to double click right in the center of this circle. So see how I just double click there? And you want that to be as close as possible to the center of that. And you're going to do that to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll go ahead and zoom out. Now it says click marker 2. So we'll go over to 2 here, zoom in. And you're going to do this to 2 also. So go ahead and click. And then if you need to redo it, you can just double click it again. So I'm going to go ahead and redo this one. So you just double click it, and then that looks good enough for me. And then you're just going to do that to the next one's going to be 3 and then 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and we'll come back. Alright, so once you're done with that, you zoom out, hit next, and pretty much you're done. So go ahead, hit finish, and then what I like to do is I come up here to this corner and then hit save settings, because if you don't save them, you're going to have to do that every single time. So let's go ahead and test out to see how accurate it is. Alright guys, so we're going to test to see how accurate it is. So the benefit to having this camera is just to be able to throw anything down on your laser bed right here, and then you can come over to your editing software, your Lightburn. You can hit update overlay here. When you update it, you're going to see, let me zoom out here, you're going to be able to see what is on your laser bed. So say that I just want to take this and I want to draw a circle over it. So go ahead, draw a circle over it like so. Right. I'll go to over here. I don't want it fill, we want line. And hopefully if everything is calibrated right, we'll get this laser to just go over to that piece of cardboard and draw a circle right around that dot. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so let's take a look at it. Alright, so there you go. The circle is around the dot. But we'll go ahead and we'll do another test here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do another test. I put the card back on there with another dot, put a circle around it. Let's see how this one does. Alright, so not bad. Don't know if that's exactly perfect. You guys tell me. I mean, so I guess the dot was like that. Alright. I mean, pretty close. That is definitely pretty close. So, I'll do another example here. Alright guys, so I went ahead and put a piece of cardboard out on the laser bed, and then I just typed in cool and then laid it over the cardboard. So we're going to go ahead and see how well this laser mimics what I put onto the editing software here. So hit start. Alright guys, so it finished up. And that's what it looks like. So I'll go back and look at, I kind of try to center it as much as I could on the cardboard, but I mean, looks like it did a really good job. Right where this L is right above where that marker kind of peaks right there, that hill, and it kind of is the same way on the picture there. So I actually did a really good job. Alright guys, we'll do another test, and this is where this camera is really going to come in handy. If you guys got like multiple projects on your laser bed here that you want to do, and just got them thrown out like that, and then if you come over here, I just typed in all things cool, and we're going to go ahead and run that, and we're going to, by this test, we'll be able to see if any portion of our testing was maybe a little bit off. Remember, in the top corner, the top part is where my higher scores were, the middle to lower were my better scores. So we'll go ahead and see how this project turns out. So let's start it. And it's starting over here first. Go ahead and let that run, and then I'll come back. Alright guys, so it just finished up. I'm going to go ahead and turn the laser off. But there you go. That's what it looks like. And it looks like everything came out just like how it was on the editing software. So I'm real happy with it. Everything looks pretty centered how I had it. Now, what would this be good for? So if you want to do some coasters, you throw some coasters out there. Maybe you do a lot of coasters. And like I've done coasters in the past with the X tool here. And I had to actually make like a little bit of a grid. But you could just throw these on here like so. Fill this whole thing up. Go in the editing software. Put whatever design you want in each one. And it's going to know where everything is. You don't have to really center it or anything like that. Compared if you don't have the camera, you're going to have to have some type of jig or something to set this up so you know exactly where to place these for your design. This is going to speed things up for me because I'm actually going to engrave a bunch of bottle openers. So the cool thing is with this camera, I'll be able to just place those right on the laser bed, go into editing software, create my design, and I should be good to go. Make sure when you calibrate this, get the best score possible. When I first set this up, I was getting scores 0.46, 0.51, and when I came through to do project, the calibration would actually be off and it wouldn't be centered as well as it is now. So make sure you try to get your score as low as possible, below that 0.3 or right next to that 0.3. That's going to benefit you a lot. Play with the height of the camera a little bit, the lighting in your garage or shop, wherever you have your laser set up at. Do your best to try to get that score as low as possible because you're going to thank yourself in the end because it's going to be calibrated a lot more accurately. Also, once you have this set up, like I said, set it up permanently because once you move this, you're going to have to redo those calibrations all over again. Though they're not very hard, they are a little time consuming. So make sure once you set this up, it's permanent and it's good to go. It is universal, so you can set this up on a lot of different lasers. So that's a big plus for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this something that you would pick up? Or do you think this would be useful to complete your projects? I'll make sure I put links in the description box below if this is something that you want to pick up or find some more information out about. Check those links out. If you found some value in this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button and that notification bell so you guys get notified when I post my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you on the next one.